What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fi here. Sheets is unfortunately stuck in traffic, so he's not going to be able to make it today. Hopefully, he's able to get back in time to do his lineups and everything. It's rough when you get in those big city traffic situations. So thoughts out to him. Hopefully it goes well. And appreciate you guys joining us. We're going to talk about football. We're going to talk through basketball, and I'm going to sort of do my builds on, sort of like Sheets tries to do sometimes, to do them live right here. So basically here's my contest for the night for football. I put in that I'm playing 40 in the lottery and then one of the 333. For those of you guys who don't know, it's really easy just to upload your entries. I'm sure most of you guys know this stuff by now, but it's just literally click of a button and it'll immediately upload your contests, and then it's automatically going to sim them for the contest that you're in. What I did today was I used Goldie's projections instead of the Saber Sim projections, and well, again, Sheets is stuck in traffic, but you can always find those over here on the right. And I also updated it with Goldie's ownership instead of Sheets, instead of Saber Sims as well. It's just another way to get a little bit different. Thanks, Mitch. Yeah, the PJ Washington. I said that was my weird call. The guy projected it 3x, and he just went nuts. I'll get into my NBA plays in a little bit, but right now I want to run through this build. So I'm going to rebuild these. I didn't make that many settings. There's a couple guys I want to be like over the field on. I think CeeDee Lamb is my favorite to, captain to be over the field on. Right now I've got 24% of them. But let's rebuild these, and then we're going to run the Sims and see what it gives us and see if it's what we like. Remember, we want to try and get unique also. That's partly why I like the idea of using Goldie and Sheets's projections rather than just the default Saber Sim, so we can get a little bit more unique that way. And the Goldie and Sheets's projections are both awesome. So I like that. I'll get into TJ. I'll talk about basketball a little later. I'm talking about football first, and then we'll go to basketball. I could always switch it around, but I just want to go through a build real quick in football and sort of say what I like tonight. I do think that Lamb is a good way to get different as a captain. That's something that I'm forcing in, as I mentioned. I think that Tank Dell is another one I'm considering. I think Nico Collins being back actually benefits him, so I'd like to get over the field on that play. And let's run the Sims and see where we end up. What's up, K9? Good to see you, buddy. This is where we're at. Run the Sims yet? Oh, there we go. Now we got the Sims. So look, you can see that they're giving us all, again, the ways to get different. I love having these captains. This feels really, really good. Like a build I would feel very comfortable rolling with just from a captain's perspective. I don't mind being underweight. I know that Mixon seems like the obvious play if you're playing a cash game for some reason. I do think Mixon is the one you want to be using, but I don't think that we have to do that. I think there's other ways to get different. And I especially like the idea of using Ferguson, Lamb, and Dell. So I'm very, very happy with those coming out as my highest owned. I do want to make sure I play Mixon in most of my lineups in the flex. For some reason, it's not just automatically putting him in there. I'm going to keep going a little bit higher because I'd like to have even more Mixon than what it's giving us right now. Yes, 65%. That feels a little bit better to me. The Cooper Rush, I actually don't mind being a little bit underweight this play. So I'm just going to put a max of 50 and go from there. And of course, obviously CD's supposed to play, but if anything changes, we can make some adjustments. Getting a ton of Kevontae Turpin, that's one I don't mind either. I don't mind taking a little gamble. He's 1,200. I think it makes things work. And let's make sure the captain stays the same. I'd like to get more of Lamb than of Dell. So let's go to the min uniques here. Let's go to, and let's see if we can just try to do it that way. Okay, that feels a little better, having the same amount of both. But I think both have the upside to be the highest scoring player. And I think that's, just to get a little bit different. I do like that idea. I also like the Ferguson idea. I think this is a matchup you can go there. And for what it's worth tonight, guys, I like the Cowboys. I never like the Cowboys. I have a feeling they come out and play strong tonight. I don't know why, but I actually think the Cowboys plus 7.5 is a reasonably good bet at home, giving up more than a touchdown. I think we can definitely take advantage of that. I like them plus the points. I even like them at plus 285 to win the game. Cooper Rush, I know they've looked terrible all year. They're not. I don't think the Cowboys are a good team. I think they can put it together for one night and have a good game here. I also like the over in this game, and you can see the Saber Sim projection over here. The over is 41, but they've got it at 42.3. I think that's. I like to bet, and I like when Saber Sims matches what I think. So I like the over in the game for what it's worth. This is pretty comfortable with almost just lock and loading. Assuming we don't get any late news and stuff like that. That's why I wanted to wait for the NBA, because we're probably going to get some NBA news while we're on the show here. I think people are going to play the defenses, and I don't think that that's unique. So I'm actually not as interested in the defenses. I do like the kickers. That's the other spot I'd like to be a little bit overweight. And one other thing I like to do when I rebuild one last time is I want to get I want to be willing to leave more money on the table. We've seen a lot of wins this year with like 9K left on the table. It's wild. But yeah, anyway, so if you want to play defenses, go ahead. I'm not going to do that personally. I'm going to be more on the side of the kicking, but I totally understand the defensive the take for defense. But I'd like to be overweight both of the kickers, honestly. So let's just do this and see where it leaves us as far as everything goes. And if it's what we like elsewhere, Mixon being the most owned, that makes the most sense to me. Again, I'd like to get to a little bit more of Lamb than Dell, but I think that I'm okay with taking a shot here. Let's mess with the min uniques one more time and see if we can not get that Lamb above Dell here. I might have to go back to one min unique and see if it works. No, let's go back to one. All right, and yeah, this feels a little bit better to me. I really like the idea of taking a hard stance on the low owned captain options. What am I supposed to say about Mingo? Why am I supposed to say anything about him? For what it's worth, like what has he done to deserve anything? He's got a 1.5 point fantasy projection. I don't care about Mingo. No interest for me. If it happens, it happens. I'm not going there myself. All right. Yeah. I think this defense take I've heard a lot of places throughout the industry today, and I just am not. I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna go the other way and say that there's going to be points scored tonight. I certainly understand the argument for defenses. If it was a normal Sunday slate, maybe we'd be talking about Houston as being one of the defenses we target. But I don't want to do that tonight. I actually am going the other way with this game, particularly. Oh, Mingo out. When was that announced? Is he out? Let me double check the Staverson projections here. Let's switch back for 1 second. And I don't have Mingo as out, but I don't have him as a play either. So it really doesn't really matter to me that much if he is out or not. I just have no interest in him. Yeah, that's fine. So go ahead and play him if you guys want to. I don't want to play him. It's not his first game. They didn't even dress him in his first game that he was there. He was able to play. He didn't even make it. Like, yeah, maybe take a shot on Mingo. I am not personally going to be doing much of that myself. And I'm actually pretty comfortable with how these are going. So I'm just going to show for anybody who doesn't know how to sort of upload these things. So we're going to go over here, and you can always decide which contest you want to save it to. I'm going to save it for all of them. We're going to go here. I'm going to end up probably hand editing my 333, but this is what I've got for right now. So look, saved, download. It's just so easy, and you want to do it as close to lock as possible. And same thing with late swap. I'm going to start doing some late swap shows, by the way. And let me just pull this up, and we'll go to this. This is the one time 239. Yep, I'm on the West Coast, so that's going to be my essentially my lineups for right now. I'm probably going to rerun it again one more time before we lock, but that's what I've got for right now. Let me just make sure it did give me exactly what I wanted. Let's go to the exposure for NFL, and yeah, we've got that looks about what I want. I'm pretty happy with that. And again, you don't have to be right every time when you play Showdown, but taking stands is a good way to go. You don't want to go. We don't know his usage, and we don't know if he's going to have any usage, by the way, about the Mingo. I personally am not on the play. If you guys want to go for it, it's going to be low owned, so please feel free to take a shot. I don't think there's any problem with that. Cheats is stuck in traffic. He's not going to be able to make it today, unfortunately. Sorry about that, Kadiri. I know it's better when he's here, but unfortunately, he's not able to make it today, and we're going to have to fly this one solo. All right, I'm going to jump over to the NBA. I'm just playing the lottery tonight in the NBA. I'm just playing 40 lineups in there. I already uploaded them, as you guys can see. These are the contests. That's what I'm playing, 40 in the lottery. And we're gonna refresh this stuff because I haven't updated since earlier in the day. And again, you want to wait until as close to lock as possible. There's always NBA news these days, especially more than ever. We don't have I don't know what I'm looking out for today, but I know that there's going to be news that we're not ready for, that we're looking out for. So that was what I got on my first runs. I'm going to rebuild everything now, and I'm going to actually let me just double check the last time Sheets and Goldie updated their projections before I do anything. And it looks like Goldie's were updated this afternoon at 12:30. I'm going to stick with the Saberson projections over here for right now. Do I think the Wizards keep it close? I don't think so, but it wouldn't surprise me. It's the NBA, but I think the Knicks should be able to control that game. I actually like the unders tonight in a few of these games. I like the Knicks under. I'm going against all of my things. The huge total in Detroit. I slightly like the under in that one, but this is what I sort of got just running. And again, I didn't really put too many things together. Let me just rebuild this and see what we get, and then see if it's what we like for right now. For what it's worth, I really do want to get pieces from this Indiana-Toronto game, especially on the Indiana side. I'm extremely interested in everyone over here. You can see that we've got like McConnell looks like a great play. I tagged T and Siakam. Siakam back in Toronto, 7,200, too cheap. I love him here. I like Halliburton in this matchup. Miles Turner obviously is the biggest Q tag that I think we have going that we really don't know what the deal is going to be. We may not know until right before game time. Hopefully we get a little bit earlier. On the other side, I'm a little bit lower on Mogbo than I think that the field is going to be. I'm more into the RJ Barrett. I really like RJ Barrett in this matchup. I think this could be one of those 50 plus games for him. And I think Grady Dick, if you're not playing Barrett, or even if you are playing Barrett, I just think you want to get exposure to this game in general. So let's see what it's giving me for this game total right now. I've got Siakam at 55%, Halliburton 57%, McConnell 87%. This is definitely the game I want to target the most. I think, especially the Indiana side of that. I also did want to take a double check and see how much Franz they're going to give me. I just think it's right to be over on Franz. This Orlando team has been excellent lately, and I just want to make sure that in general I'm over on Franz every night, basically, while Paolo's gone until he's 10K. He's shown the massive ceiling, and he would have gone even crazier lately. The games just haven't been close in a lot of those cases. So if the game does stay close, and it should, projections wise, it should be. You're looking at Wagner's coming off 64. Before that, 47, 55. He's been over 40, 6 straight games. Every game without Paolo, he's averaging right around, I think it's actually right around 52 now. That's what I saw earlier today. So I just want to be overweight that in general. And also the late game gives you more swappability, et cetera, et cetera. Thoughts on Duncan and Love as values? Look, Kevin Love hasn't played more than 13 minutes, I believe, in a game this season. I am probably not going to get one share of Kevin Love. But if you wanted to gamble, go right ahead. I think it's a little. I don't really also love that I'm getting as much Josh Richardson as I am. I'm fine with the play, but I'm going to make this. I'm going to set a cap on that one a little bit. I don't love where it's at. So let's see what we're getting and what we're doing to get different based on this. Let's apply this and see how we're going to get different on this slate. Giving me a lot of campaign right now, which is campaign is a way to get different. Actually, not a lot. 18% is not that crazy. But it's a tough slate to get totally unique on. I don't mind the idea of taking a shot on Boucher when these things happen. But again, he's sort of the same play every night. You're sort of betting on the heat check guy. The ones I really wanted to focus on are these. Siakam, we want to get 50% of him. We want to get Halliburton. I don't know if I want 60%, but I definitely want to be over the field. And I just think it's better to be over the field in just this game environment in general. So I'm just going to make sure no matter when I rerun, that I'm still getting some stuff there. I don't even mind taking a shot on Obi Toppin, but if Turner's out, that's going to be the easiest play in the world. Whether you want to play Toppin or whoever, basically whoever starts for Indiana. If you want to, if it should probably be Toppin, but I guess it could be Enrique Freeman, but I doubt it. I like Walker too. Is Plumlee overpriced? So let's think about this one. What are we getting of him? I'm getting 42%. I don't know that I'd say he's overpriced. Am I missing something though? There's something weird with my projections. I'm looking at a different screen over here, and yeah, that's why they had one of the sites I was looking at had Nurkic in, and that was throwing off my projections a little bit. So let's see. Plumlee without has been what 30, 39, 22. I'm okay with him. I don't think it's a must play. I probably want somewhere between 15 and 40%. I don't want to go above 40, but even that, let's go 10 to 40 because I don't mind not getting. You know what? Just go 0. I don't mind not getting him either. RJ Barrett. I'm very big on RJ Barrett tonight. As I mentioned, I tagged him as a core play. We're going to go back to him. And basically with my core plays tonight, I'm going to probably end up with near 50% of each of them. I'm going to make sure I have at least 40 of Barrett. Really like him tonight. As I mentioned, really like the Franz play, as I mentioned. Those are the guys I'm looking at spending up for as of right now. And, Jimmy back has got me I don't love that we're getting this much ownership. I'm going to go a little lower here and apply again, and then we're probably going to rebuild one more time. I'm good with the Jovic thing. I'll just make sure I have at least 10. Duncan Robinson is a weird one because, again, there's so many bus paths for a guy like him, but he's also not getting that much ownership. So it's probably worth it taking some shots. But I think I'm worried about the minutes. I don't know with Butler back that he's going to keep playing all the minutes that he's been seeing. So I feel like it's a little bit of a dart throw. I'll put it somewhere 5 to and not 5. Maybe let's go 2 to maybe. I don't think I really want more than like 15% of it, to be honest. And supply. I'm going to rebuild these in a second, but this is sort of where I don't love the Hayward Highsmith thing either. Let's just basically it's okay. It's just not. I don't need to get there. There's only one lineup anyway. All right, let's rebuild and see where we're at and see if I can find something I like a little bit better than what I got right now. What other questions you guys have? Do I like Dowdle? Oh, going back to football. Dowdle's fine. He's getting ownership. I don't have any issue with it, but I'm not going out of my way to play a ton of him. I like the pass catchers. That's the route I'm taking today. I'm going pass catching route with Ferguson, with Lamb, etc. So, am I playing a Kogi? Let's see what I end up with here in a minute. But I certainly don't think you need to at this price. There's definitely a bust path for him at this price. I'm not going to go out of my way to get him. If I end up with a little bit of, I'm not going to mind it. So Kaz, good question. I like this kind of question. So it's sort of personal. Yeah, it's, I think Sabres. So here's the thing that's happened. When I first started playing DFS, I literally, I didn't have projection things. I didn't look at anything. I watched every NBA game. I got really good. I did really, really well without ever seeing a projection thing of any kind or whatever. But now with the Sims and everything like that, I think you kind of need to keep pace. It's really, really hard to win as a hand builder. So I really like, even if I am going to hand build, I want to run these things a million times just to see what kind of things I'm getting so I know what everyone else is going to do. And also, I do think that it's an incredibly helpful tool, especially as it applies to late swap. Sheets is probably the best example of this. This guy's been crushing in every sport, and he's there like late swap before every other game locks. It'll take into account how everything's going, and it's a really, really valuable tool. So yes, it's hard for me to say it's improved my play because I haven't had the best year, but I don't know what I would do without it in the current market. I think you kind of need to be doing this, playing in with some of these sims and stuff in order to stay consistently relevant in the DFS world. It's just really tough. But I like that question. After you see all your lineups, do you have a sneaky NBA play tonight? So, okay. Let's see. What would qualify for sneaky? I am eating in NBA. We end up eating more chalk than usual. This is a little bit high on the ownership on Levine. I think maybe you could talk me into one of the Bulls guys, whether it be, it's not that sneaky, but like I think Kobe White and Josh Giddey at this price. I want to make sure I get I want to make sure I have some Kobe White, but I don't have one that just stands out as like, oh, I need to play. This is one that no one's going to see coming. I really don't. I don't have like one specific guy that I feel great about. The guys I feel great about are mostly being owned, including all these guys. I actually don't want to I want to make sure I have a Nick in most of my lineups. I'm just going to do this. I want to be over the field on these guys, especially Hart. I feel like this is a good Hart game. Maybe that's one you could do at somewhat low ownership. It's not going to be that low, but it's going to be lower than it usually would be for a guy who's going to play like 40 minutes. And I think it's a good matchup, a great pace skip kind of game for him against Washington here. Yeah, Zach LaVine. I'm okay with getting some of it. I don't know if I want the 50 whatever percent it was giving me. I'm hoping that taking some of the other Bulls is going to be a way to get a little bit off of it. But on its, in a vacuum, I think Zach LaVine is a totally good play tonight. I just don't think that you have to play that much chalk. All the Bulls feel a little underpriced, but I mean LaVine, there's plenty of bus paths for him. His usage the last 2 games was almost non-existent after having a 30% usage the game before where he went nuts in New York. So I would probably take the approach of trying to be near or maybe even a little below the field on Levine tonight and maybe play a little bit more of Kobe White, Josh Giddey, and Vooch. Vooch has not been great statistically for a while, but it is the kind of matchup you want to take a shot on him. We've seen Detroit have trouble against bigs, so I'm open to that idea of getting some Vooch. So let's run the sim again and see where we're at. All right. TJ says he's playing Tyus. Hey, he burned me the other night, but I have no issue with the Tyus Jones play. I like the price. He was great yesterday. It feels a little chasey because he hasn't had that many great games, but in the same time, that Devin Booker's at 9,500. It's totally a reasonable play even at that price. But really, in terms of shot creation, it's Grayson Allen, Tyus Jones, and Devin Booker. Those are the shot creators on the Phoenix side. So I have no issue with the Tyus Jones play at all. All right, let's see where we're at now and what we're getting exposure-wise versus the field. So it's taking a little bit of a hard stand on Campaign for me, and I don't mind that. Campaign is a guy who can do some things while he's in there. It does feel like a little bit weird, and it's a play that if we get anybody else out, probably won't even show up at all for me. But as of right now, I do think that they're getting some of it, and then also getting some of the Chris Boucher. Those are 2 differentiators that SaberSim's giving me at the moment that I have no issue with whatsoever. I like that. Again, the Indy, Toronto, and Chicago, Detroit are my favorite games. You just have a little bit tricky pricing. I do like this Cade play. I want to make sure no matter what I rerun, I have 20% of it. I also want 20% of Ivy, And I don't really care to try and go out of my way, except for maybe if Durant is going to be really low owned, I think I might take a shot there. So again, it's going to take a little while till we get everything sorted out and figured out. Like again, all it takes is one piece of information. Like we lose Miles Turner, and all of a sudden it's a totally different slate. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting messages on there. Let's see, Jacob going to dominate the paint if Turner's out. Yeah, maybe. Podol's been really good. I mean, look, you could just game log watch and realize that Podol has probably been the most under projected player. Where are we getting with him? We're actually not getting to that much of him. I would like to get some of him, so I'm good with the Podol idea. Let's make sure we have at least 10% of it. And yeah, I'm sort of good with this. I like Siakam. I considered locking him in. I don't usually do that, but I really like him in this matchup. I like him going back to Toronto. I know he hasn't been putting up the monster games that we've seen from him in the past. This feels like a spot where I think he might. Another one I wanted to mention was Benedict Mathurin, that I want to make sure he's gonna have some bust games for sure. But when people aren't playing him, that's when I want to play him, because he's got 50 plus upside. So I'm gonna go out of my way and play a little bit of him. And you see, I'm just getting a little bit more spread out here than what we initially got. Let's run some of these, and let's see, 75% Siakam. That might even be a little bit too much, but again, I did consider the lock, so I can't hate it. It's not a huge amount of money either. I'm only playing $600 worth tonight. Let's see what else we got here. This feels a little bit better to me. I don't love this Richardson thing. I think I might even make this a little bit lower. It's not that it's that bad of a play. It just feels like it's too trendy, and I'm not really sure where this projection's entirely coming from. So I'm going to go down a little bit even, and just, if he beats me, he beats me, but I don't want to have more than 30% of it. That's just my take. But you can see the guys, again, Levine, I'd like to be near the field on him. Let's put it at 30, get a little bit less. And then now we're starting to see something I like a little bit better. I still like the Jovic idea a little bit. Again, the Kevin Love thing is just so hard. Is it going to be the game where he puts up 35 fantasy points in 12 minutes? It's just hard to count on that from anybody. It's bizarre that he does it, but anyway. And that's sort of the overall thinking tonight. Like there's value out there, but it's not like some of the slates we've seen lately where there's just this astronomical, everybody's 7, 8, 9x projections. We just don't have as much of that tonight. So Towns is another one I'm getting to. Okay, let's see. Let's just go run this back. And yeah, so for right now, I would be okay with running something like this. It feels totally legitimate to me. I think this is, again, I'm still not thrilled about the Josh Richardson thing. I'm hoping something else happens so I can find somewhere else to go with that. I did get to the Cameron Payne as a pivot off of that, just to, again, because the ownership, I like that. So this is looking like it's something that I would feel comfortable running with right now. But again, the important part, and like I said, we're going to start doing some of these late swap shows. I wonder how many of you guys have been using the late swap tools, because it's incredibly effective. It's taking into account everybody who's played, all the ownership that's locked. It updates the ownership. It's a really, really valuable tool. And you have a little bit of a gap here before this Orlando Phoenix game where you're going to have some ideas of how you're doing. And if ideally, like I mentioned, the Wagner play, and I think Batatse is totally reasonable as well. Even getting some KCP, that shows how little value we have in Isaac. But it would be nice in general if all things were equal and this Chicago and Detroit game was later, I would just stack the hell out of that game and then just make my late swaps as we go. All right, guys, if you don't mind giving us a like and all that stuff, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm probably going to get out of here in just a couple minutes, but I will be in Discord talking to everybody about what's happening on this slate as it comes up. So yeah, look out for that in there if you're a site member, and we'll talk through any other ideas or any questions in there. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hope everybody has a good night. I'm going to go back real quick and just double check if there's anything else from football that we're waiting on. I don't really see that much that we're waiting on for football. It's just, I guess it's what the hell is going to happen with Mingo, but I don't even know that I care enough to really know. Zeke is so cheap. I actually did consider making him a captain in a couple. Maybe I will. Maybe that's one thing I can change. Okay, let's see what my exposure is here. Yeah, this still feels pretty good to me. I like where I'm at, getting unique mostly, and just underweight mixing a little bit. I am paying up for Cade to answer that one. Yeah, AJ, you can just I'll pop the Discord thing in here, but the premium Discord is mostly what I talk in, and that's all. You can only do that if you're a site member, if you sign up for the site. But if you are a site member, you'll have an email confirmation, and that's where you get it. But here's the Discord. And again, I mostly talk in the NBA channel, which is a premium only thing, just because it's fair to our subscribers to go that way. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys as always. I'm going to get out of here. Good luck tonight. Let's crush it. If anything else comes up, maybe I'll pop back in and go live. I might pop back in and go live for late swap. We're going to start doing more of that. Again, it's not maybe the perfect slate for it because that Phoenix Orlando game is one of the lower total games in the slate. But I do like the idea of it, and I think that's something that I'm going to definitely put into account. So, all right, appreciate all you guys. Good luck to everybody tonight, and we'll see you guys hopefully